Hey everybody, welcome to a new episode of Sunnydale Review. I'm Brian.
I'm Jillian.
And Jillian.
Yes.
It's episode 3. We're back. I mean, we're filming this all on the same day, so it's easy for us. But, they don't have to know that, and it won't feel like that for them unless they look at our clothes.
And you bringing it up definitely will.
Yeah, which I'll probably bring it up every episode, just like this. But how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing quite well. Oh, man. So we're here to talk about 5 episodes, right?
We are.
In this episode. We're going to start off with The Witch.
Yeah. Which
Which
I'm going to admit is not one of my must-watch for season 1 episodes. What I actually did, because I recently got my boyfriend into watching Buffy.
Right.
And so what I actually did was for like episode 1 and 2, Welcome to the Hellmouth and the Harvest, I was like, you have to watch these episodes. You have to watch the full episodes.
Okay. Yeah.
And like I made him like put his computer away. Like I got really into it. There was popcorn. It was great.
You're watching this.
You are
I swear
watching
to God.
this. Hey, he made me watch The Expanse. So
Okay, it's fair. Fair game.
So I was like, you need to actually like pay attention. This was one of the episodes where I did not have him watch the full episode.
Okay.
So what I actually did was Passion of the Nerd, which I've talked about before.
Shout out. Not that he needs it from us.
Not that he needs it from us, but I love him. And I love his like episode guides. His episode guides really started as skip guides. At least for like the first probably the first season, and then he really gets into like the deeper stuff. But with Buffy, there's a certain point where a lot of people kind of fall off. They don't connect with the show as well.
Okay.
I feel like The Witch, and then the next episode we'll talk about Teacher's Pet, is really like a big area where that can happen. So I did not have my boyfriend watch the full episodes.
Okay.
I had him watch the kind of shorter, here's the major plot points of the episode.
Yeah.
Here's kind of the major things you need to know, kind of take away so you didn't really miss anything, but the rest of it's really just kind of dumb. And
the themes. He's funny. He makes his videos really like cool and like he adds jokes in his commentary. So I get where you can like watch those as a supplement to the actual real episode.
Yeah. So with The Witch and with the next episode, Teacher's Pet, I definitely went that route. So yeah, not one of my favorite episodes.
So what is it about?
So this episode, kind of in a nutshell, is Buffy wants to go back to cheerleading because she used to do cheerleading at her old school in LA. She wants to join the cheerleading team. She tries out. She becomes like an alternate.
Right.
And slowly but surely, the girls who did get on the team, things start happening to them. The first one, like, oh God. Let's see. Now I'm going through my notes. I wrote way too many notes for this episode.
I hate everything about this episode. We're going to ride through it. Here's 5 pages of notes I took on it.
I'm not proud of it. I'm sorry. I'm a willow. It's what I do. So basically things start happening to the girls. One girl goes blind. I think another girl like catches fire.
Yes, she does.
Cordelia is actually the one who goes blind. And there's this other character who also tried out, who's an alternate after Buffy. Her name is Amy. And so she has like this plot point where her mom was on the cheerleading team. She really wants her mom. She really wants to be like her mom.
It's a whole legacy thing. No,
yeah. So she really wants to like make her mom proud. It's really important to her mom that she gets on the cheerleading team. So slowly but surely, as girls start getting kind of knocked down, the alternates start stepping in, and she gets on the team. But Buffy kind of like loses it at one point, and she like they're either in a practice or at a game, and there's a point where she's supposed to like help another girl like do a trick, and she accidentally like throws her across her room, showing off her Slayer powers.
Right.
Which is not great. There's also like another whole kind of underlying plot in this episode with Buffy kind of trying to connect with her mom, and her mom like not really caring.
Right.
There's an episode where Joyce has like no idea that Buffy was trying out for cheerleading, and Buffy tries to tell her, and Joyce is like, "Oh, good, I'm glad you're taking that up again. It'll keep you out of trouble." And Buffy's like, "I'm not in trouble," and Joyce is like, "No, not yet."
Right.
Like, Joyce is just so freaking supportive of her.
Right.
Not. Let's see. Joyce says that she and Buffy had to move all the way to Sunnydale because it was the only school that would take her because of all the trouble she caused at her old school. Right. Joyce is such a crappy mom. At least this time she realized it. I have on my notes, great parenting form. But so what it ends up being is that Amy, who she has this like whole thing about, oh, my mom was on the cheerleading team, is really important for blah, blah, blah. Turns out that's actually Amy's mom.
Yeah.
Amy's mom has stolen her body, like done like a Freaky Friday.
Yeah.
And is trying to get back on the cheerleading team and relive like her high school glory days. Turns out that Amy's mom is also a witch.
Yes.
So Buffy and Giles go, and at this point Buffy's like getting really, really sick and nobody knows what's really going on with her. Buffy and Giles go to speak to Amy's mom, figure out, oh, Amy's mom, you're actually Amy.
Yeah.
And figure out that Amy's mom is a witch and has been kind of cursing all the girls who got on the team ahead of her because she wants to be on the cheerleading team. And then they end up undoing the Freaky Friday, getting Amy back in her right body, and then Amy's mom tries to curse Buffy. They, like, hit this mirror, which then falls down, and Amy's mom's spell, like, rebounds on her.
Yeah.
And she ends up getting turned into the cheerleading statue that is in the
little trophy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fucked up. So dark.
So she is stuck in the, like, cheerleading trophy that is in the trophy case of the high school.
Yeah. Which she helped win.
Yeah.
When she was at the high school. And Amy doesn't have a mom anymore, but it's fine. Because her mom kind of the worst.
Yeah.
Stole her body. Not good.
She ends up living with her dad, though. She's fine. She's not, like, orphaned or whatever.
Right.
But it's, like, so there's kind of a couple different, like, mirroring plot lines in this, because you have, like, the Amy's mom relationship kind of compared to Buffy and Joyce.
Right.
And then you also have, like, what is it? They called it The Witch instead of, like, Witch. Because it was Amy's mom.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is really, like, I think one of the reasons that it's not, like, my favorite episode is it's very much a Monster of the Week episode, which is a lot of season 1, admittedly. So as far as, like, a watch pass on this one, I say give it a pass. Watch the Passion of the Nerds kind of recap of it. It's not a really strong episode on its own, and I feel like it's a point where a lot of people would fall off. What would you kind of give this episode for, like, stakes?
So I would say this is probably a 5 out of 10. Like, it's just average. It's interesting. It introduces magic and witches that become much more important and prominent as it goes. It introduces Amy, who's kind of a side peripheral player in the series, right? Yeah, okay, yeah. She's the one I'm thinking of. Okay, good. Because she will come back in a later episode and then come back again. Won't spoil what that means, but yeah, it's just average, like, ho-hum type of an episode. What about you? What'd you rate it?
I gave it 4.
A 4. So, yeah, in the same, but a little worse.
A little ballpark.
Yeah.
I did think it was convenient that all of the ingredients that the gang needs to do their spells in these early seasons, it's all readily accessible in the science lab.
Of course.
It's like, that's really nice. But the only things they ever need for spells are right there in the science lab.
Yeah.
They got, like, I think at one point there's, like, a newt eye, and they're like, oh, we've been dissecting frogs in science class. Let's just go grab one of those.
Exactly.
So it's fun.
So next episode, which you also said you're not a huge fan of.
Teacher's Pet.
Yes.
So main kind of idea of this episode is there's a demon that is a giant
praying mantis.
Praying mantis, thank you. They're So there's a science teacher that is like the first to really kind of sympathize with Buffy's position. He's like, you're really smart, but like if you just applied yourself, you know?
Yeah.
And it was like the first teacher to really like not give her a hard time, and be like supportive. And so he ends up missing a head. They find him in the closet, and he just has no head.
Refrigerator.
Yeah.
Cordelia has her prescription lunches. Which is a very funny Cordelia scene because she's like talking to the crisis counselor.
Oh, yeah.
And she's like, I haven't been able to eat since yesterday and I've lost 7 ounces. I'm not saying that a teacher should always get murdered for my diet, but it's like so funny.
Cordelia always finding the silver
And
lining
Buffy's
of how
just
it
sitting
benefits
there
her.
just like, fuck.
It's like, oh my god, you're making this about you.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Oh, man. But yeah, that's unfortunate. But, they get a sub who's also an expert on... It's funny because she comes in, she's like, you just tell me where to go. Like a normal sub. Like, where you sign up and I just go tell you. And normally you just go there and hand papers and be like, I don't know, busy work. But she's like an expert, like, in her field. And there's a reason for that, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, should I just, like, straight out?
Yeah, we'll just
okay, the sub is a praying mantis demon. Yeah. She's a praying mantis demon who has a thing for virgins.
Yeah.
And so tries to lure the virgins back to her house, where the idea is that she will turn into a praying mantis, have sexy fun time with the high school virgin boys.
As a praying mantis.
And they will fertilize her eggs, and then she bites off their head.
Yeah.
Because that's what a praying mantis apparently does, is they
Yeah,
have sexy fun times and then
mantis
bite off the male's
head.
Yeah.
Yeah. and there was a funny part of this episode where Buffy's like, praying mantis, like, she turned her head 180 degrees.
Oh
Only praying mantises. It's like, and owls also.
Yeah.
She could have been an owl.
Yeah.
But obviously it's all insect episode. But, yeah, so she kidnaps...
and she has pheromones that are making all the teenage boys, like, really into her. The praying mantis lady.
Yeah.
So she ends up being like, hey, Xander, want to come over to my house tonight and, like, work on an extra credit project? And he's kind of, like, drooling, and he's like, yeah.
Well, first she does that to another guy.
Oh, yeah.
Who's all state. Or all city.
Yeah.
He's such a douche. Oh, my God. He's like... Yeah, he comes up and she's looking for the science room because that's where she's teaching. He's like, I can show you where that is. It's right near the field where I took all city last year. Like, this guy, fuck this guy.
Can't.
Yeah.
So they call it a she mantis,
right?
Because they do. Let's see. She assumes the form of a beautiful woman who then lures virgins back to her nest. So she ends up getting Xander to come over, and Willow and Buffy are all freaking out. And then Buffy goes, like, she only kills virgins. We don't have anything to worry about with Xander. And then Willow just kind of gives her a look. She's like, oh, okay. Well, maybe we should go help him.
So Buffy, I mean, just, bro, she had faith in Xander.
Yeah.
But
nope.
I mean, come on. Come on, Buffy.
So they end up using they go to the sub's house and use bat sonar to mess with her. They rescue the 2 boys, and they end up killing her. And,
and the douchey football player is also a virgin. Like, ooh, I got a spot blown up by this situation. Embarrassing. Oh, man. She has, like, a jail cell, too. I just, like...
She has, like, a whole, like, cage thing.
Picture her, like, as a mantis, like, building this.
I don't know.
I'm sure she went into human form for that. I was like, whose house is this? How, like, what went into this whole demon plan? Like, she had to buy a house in town.
That had a basement.
She had to get the credentials to be a substitute teacher. She had to get hired... it's just
or she
a lot.
just like used the pheromones to like trick
convince people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, I don't love this episode.
Oh, and this episode ends on a, like, ooh, maybe this will come back, and it never comes back.
Oh, yeah, because the eggs start hatching, and yeah, it never gets mentioned again.
Never. So, I'm going to say this is a 3 out of 10, now that we're talking about it.
Yeah.
If only because the scene where she puts crickets on bread is really gross.
No.
I did enjoy the folly sound of her, like, biting the crickets. It's like, so much louder than it would be. But what'd you give this?
I gave it 1.
Oh my
I
God.
really don't
you
like
hate
this episode. The only good part of this episode is there's a line from Giles where I think it's when, like, Willow hacks into something to find out something on the teacher. I think, like, to find her address or something. And Giles goes, right. Wasn't there. Didn't see it. Yeah. Couldn't have stopped you.
Right.
He's like, I don't want to know what you're doing or how you're doing it. It's better off for me to not know.
Right. Oh, man. So that's Teacher's Pet.
It is.
It's
rough.
Maybe Jill's least favorite episode ever.
No.
Not ever.
No.
But
there's some other ones, but it's definitely in my, like, bottom 5.
Well, I actually like the next episode quite a bit.
Never Kill a Boy on the First Date?
I do, because, like, it adds a lot more to Buffy's, like, character in that you kind of see what she's giving up in life to be the Slayer, you know?
Okay.
Well, let's get into it. Never kill a boy on the first date. Good advice, ladies out there.
Or, never kill a boy ever, because that's a crime.
That too.
I'm just
saying.
That
too. But especially not on the first date.
Yeah. I mean, unless you really... No, I'm not going there. Don't do crime.
Yeah, hard anti-crime podcast here. That's our official stance.
Okay. So, this episode is actually, I will say, the first mention of the Anointed One.
Yes, it is.
So,
dweeb.
Oh my God. So the Anointed One is supposed to be like this kind of very special vampire who is going to help bring the Slayer to the Master to help him escape from his mystical prison.
It's actually not a terrible plan that they concoct here, in the sense that they're using, like, a little, like, innocent child as bait, because you gotta trust a child, you know? No, if a child is like, I need help, you'd be like, fuck off, kid.
No.
Am I just too trusting of everyone all the time?
No, I'm saying if there's a child that needs help, like, help them, but also be very cautious of, like, what else is around.
Right. I get what you're saying, but, like, it's not
careful.
The worst plan. They already tried to bait Buffy with an acquaintance, so this is like add-on of that.
Okay.
You know, and she's like, her whole thing is helping the weak innocent, and so it's like,
be aware of your surroundings. Do not get in vans.
Especially when you're driving a bus.
Yeah. Okay. So this is just the first mention of the Anointed One. He doesn't actually show up yet.
Right.
But so basically, this episode is about Buffy trying and failing to have a normal life. She meets this guy, Owen, who comes into the library looking for
Emily Dickinson.
Yes, because he's very into how morbid she is. That's his reasoning. And he, like, carries a pocket watch, and he's very... I don't even know. He's supposed to be, like, that nice, sensitive guy who likes poetry and...
You know, so off topic. Have you ever seen the movie Lady Bird?
Bits and pieces?
Oh, there's a character in that like that who's just awful. And I think that's way more realistic than, like, what they portray guys like this. But, yeah, you know, like, gives a pretty unrealistic expectation of what, like, bookish guys, you know, get. Like, you're not gonna be hanging out with Buffy Summers if you're like that in real life.
Yeah.
As a guy with an English degree who read a lot of books in high school, let me just say, read a lot of books, talked to not a lot of girls in high school.
Willow at one point has a line about, like, I once clocked him brooding for 40 minutes straight.
Oh my God.
Which, I mean, it kind of feeds into Buffy's type, where she really likes the brooding guys.
Right.
Tall, dark, and brooding. But,
that she does.
Yeah. At one point, Giles comments that Buffy takes too long fighting vampires.
Oh, yeah, that's so rude.
And he's like, you do too many flips and stuff. It should be, his exact words, plunge and move on, plunge and move on. There are so many little, like... And
we didn't need to know about your dating life, Giles. It's good for you, but... No, it's like...
It was way too, like, funny to not have been intentional as, like, a dirty joke.
Yeah, it's like too... He's like, why do you have to be, like, quippy and stuff? Just murder them.
Yeah.
But, Buffy. Also, oh my God, we forgot to mention it in the last episode. Get the fucking hatchling slasher up in this. And he's like...
fork guy?
Yeah. He's like a vampire with a fork, like, hand.
He almost wants to be Wolverine.
Almost kills Angel, I guess. Like, Angel has, like, a giant cut from him.
I have it in here. Buffy and Giles exchange about Angel is pretty illustrative of their relationship. Because Angel went and warned Buffy about Fork Guy. And Giles says, that's all he said? Fork Guy? Yeah. I said, yep. That's all Cryptic Guy said. Fork Guy. Giles says, there are way too many guys in your life.
Yeah. But, he's like a red herring in the Teacher's Pet episode. And then he just dies. He's like,
yep.
Angel.
Not that big a deal.
Damn, can't even do anything.
Crying wolf a little bit.
Angel's also, for what he becomes, like, in his badass, and also the history of stuff, these first few episodes, he's a giant pussy. Let's be honest. He doesn't want to help Buffy go down and fight the Master in the beginning. He can't take on Fork Guy. He just runs away. This is not the Angel we'll come to know and love, as he,
Which was actually done intentionally, because they didn't want him to be a huge fighter initially.
Yeah.
They were worried about, like, the vampire kung fu aspect, where it's like all of a sudden somebody becomes a vampire and they're just, like, way too well versed in fighting.
Right.
So, ooh, that made a sound.
I don't know what that was.
That was I lowered this thing and it made like a. It's not.
Didn't like it. It's not about that.
But anyway, sorry, I'm short.
No, sorry. So, anyways, Buffy dispatches Fork Guy. We think quickly. Giles disagrees.
Yeah. So let's see. Buffy and Cordelia are both in competition over Owen, the tall, not that dark, but very broody, poetry-loving, very stale piece of bread.
Jesus Christ, tell us how you really feel.
Let's see. Xander's still trying to get with Buffy. He gets shut down again.
Is this the episode where... No, that was the last episode, too, where he has the fucking fantasy about saving Buffy.
I don't remember.
Poor Xander.
Let's see. So Buffy tries to... Oh, wait, no. This is that episode. Okay, this is the episode with the anointed one.
Yeah,
arrives.
With the bus.
I just remembered. God, I needed to rewatch these. Like,
it's all good.
Oh my God. So let's see. There's supposed to be like a rising or an arrival. So Giles keeps having Buffy go out and just like sit in the graveyard and wait, and nothing's happening. Right. And so she has plans. Ends up canceling those plans to go and sit in a graveyard where nothing happens again. So the next night, Giles is like, oh, I miscalculated. It's actually happening tonight. And she's like, Giles, I have a date. I've already rescheduled this thing. You know what? And we did this last night and nothing happened. Yeah. So you know what? If the apocalypse comes, beat me. That's this episode. Yeah. If the apocalypse comes, beat me. So let's see. Buffy finally convinces Giles to let her go. If something bad happens, she's like, let me know. And then, of course, something bad happens. But before that, Cordelia likes Angel. Angel is jealous of Owen. Buffy likes Owen, but is also kind of into Angel. So there's this whole, like, I guess that's
square.
It's a square.
Which would pay off for 3 of those characters.
Yeah. Let's see. So, Giles goes on his own to try to figure out, like, the arrival thing.
Yep.
Which is all very vague. But Willow and Xander go to get Buffy and are like, Giles went on his own. It's happening tonight. Oh my God, blah, blah, blah. He's going to go get himself killed. So Buffy's at the Bronze at her date, has to like peace out to go save Giles. Owen follows. So they go and end up at like a morgue.
Yes, they do. Which actually, I like this shot a lot of the preacher guy who's like mad annoying. And then like he dies when they get done. And then he like takes the sheet off. Because I don't like...
Yeah.
Is it ever shown really on screen someone getting turned? I can't really recall.
Think so.
But it takes a long time, I guess. Or he was just... he got turned and then they're like, all right, pretend to be dead. Pretend to be asleep. So we can wait for this to get set up.
Yeah, I think it takes a while because a lot of the times people are buried before they rise.
Right.
So
right.
there's like a pretty good waiting period between like when you die and then there's like usually a funeral and then they bury you and then rise and
Right.
Let's see. So turns out the guy that got turned into a vampire, he was crazy before.
Oh yeah.
So crazy guy plus vampire bite equals
religious guy.
Crazy vampire. So let's see. Oh, I have in my notes. Word of advice, don't call a vampire a sissy. It pisses him off.
Yes.
So Buffy ends up killing the vampire. During the fight, Owen gets knocked out. And
he tries to help.
Yeah, he tries to help. And Xander, like, kind of pretends that he gets killed to help kind of empower Buffy to kill the vampire. So she has that as, like, more motivation. Ends up killing the vampire. Owen's fine.
Right.
So, let's see. Owen still wants to see Buffy after everything that happened. Not that he remembers a lot because he got knocked out.
Yeah.
But he's like, oh, maybe we can go and, like, explore a graveyard because being at the morgue was really cool because I'm super into, like, morbid things. And the morgue was totally, like, morbid and whatever. And Buffy kind of pulls the "it's not you, it's me" line on Owen because she believes that he wants her more for like the adrenaline rush and from like everything he felt getting into the fight rather than actually liking her. So Buffy says that she wants to be friends with Owen. We never see him again.
Yeah, so we never see him again. And I think it's kind of a missed opportunity in the sense that it's like there's this guy who just found out about this whole secret world and then he just goes back to his regular life, presumably. You could have had like a, not to spoil anything, but another character comes back in this universe as like a wannabe, badass. You could have had that type of a thing,
Except that other character had like training and had already been introduced to the universe and not like. Yeah, no. I think it's better off that we never see Owen again.
All right. Well, maybe he could have like tried to be badass and died. Like his first time trying to go out there and help. I told him he shouldn't have helped. Now he's dead.
Yep. So let's see. At the end of the episode, they think that they've stopped the Anointed One. They thought that like the crazy vampire guy was the Anointed One. Turns out he's not. Turns out it was like this little kid that was also on the bus. So it wasn't known at the beginning that the Anointed One would be a child. That's the thing.
Right.
So yeah, as far as like a watch or pass on this one, I say pass. Just watch the Passion of the Nerd episode. It'll save you a good like 40 minutes. Really, it's just used to drive the point that like Buffy's never gonna have a normal social life.
Yeah.
The only really big use of this episode. The Anointed One ends up being a kid, which explains why there was like this random kid hanging out with the Master like a few episodes after. But like it's not that big a deal. I gave it like 3 steaks. I'm
Oof. I'd say it's at least a 5. I think a lot of these and why you say you can skip them is because they're more important in laying the groundwork of what is going to happen down the line. Like the witch introduction of magic. The Teacher's Pet introduction of Monster of the Week. This one introduction of, or not introduction, but like a more example of what Buffy has to give up to be. It's because obviously that's a running theme for every episode, but it's like, she wants to date Poetry Boy, but she can't because he's just going to get himself killed by trying to get involved. Xander and Willow can help. You can't help Owen. Sorry.
He's just so useless. He's just like, oh my god, like, so morbid. It was so cool.
Yeah.
It was such an adrenaline rush. Oh my god, I loved it.
Oh, man.
It's like, dude.
All right, so what's the next episode we got?
The next episode is The Pack. I actually like
this
this
actually
episode.
a good one, yeah.
I actually like this one. I know that there are some, like, PC issues with it now. We can talk about that later, but...
Oof. This one... I don't know if Xander can come back from this if this was like a current day episode.
Oh, yeah, no. So this is another, like, not dealing with vampires episode. And it's kind of like... It's kind of a weird premise.
Yeah.
So basically the kids go on a field trip to the zoo. Xander tries to save, like, this kid from getting bullied. Ends up getting possessed by the spirit of a hyena. Along with 4 other students. And so Xander starts, like, dressing and acting really differently. He's, like, very tall, dark, and brooding. But, like, also kind of crazy because he's the spirit of a hyena. Let's see. So there's a new mascot at the school that is a pig. And the hyena-possessed students eat the pig.
Straight up.
Yeah. Giles thinks Xander is just being a teenager.
Teenagers are always eating pigs all the time, just raw. It happens.
Well, no, I mean...
I know.
But Giles says, testosterone is the great equalizer. It turns all men into morons.
He's just a little rapey because he's a teenager. Chill out, guys.
Okay, so the idea is that while the 4 other students are being reprimanded by Principal Flutie, which we'll get to, Buffy goes to investigate the death of the pig mascot. And while she is there, gets confronted by Xander, who apparently, due to the hyena possession, the more scared Buffy gets, the more, like, I don't know if it's pheromones, but the more, like, adrenaline or whatever. Yeah. And he's very attracted to that. Yeah. So he kind of... He attempts to sexually assault her, which she then... It's okay, though, because she hits him with the desk and knocks him out.
It's fine. I was forgiven by the end.
Oh, my God.
Get possessed by a demon.
This episode would not play today.
No, Xander's canceled. It's #Xander's over party.
He gets better.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And this is a big one because we lose, like, one of the adults that's actually in Buffy's corner.
So,
in a pretty horrific way.
R.I.P. Principal Flutie, who got killed and eaten by the other 4 students who were possessed by the hyenas.
Thank God Xander was just sexually harassing Buffy during this and didn't also eat him.
Principal Flutie.
Yeah.
So let's see. This is the first time that we see Buffy's instincts telling her something is wrong, but Giles doesn't listen to her and kind of just writes her off. Let's see. R.I.P. Principal Flutie. Yeah. Xander. Oh, no. We already covered that. This is the first use of the book cage. So they have this cage in the library that ends up becoming very useful, but this was the first use of it, was them locking Xander up until they could figure out how to get him unpossessed by the hyena.
Right.
So Buffy and Giles go to the zoo to talk to the zookeeper to be like, yo, what's up with these hyenas? Like, this is where this all went down. And Willow is left watching Xander, which I think it, like, really shows how, like, I don't know, smart she is. That she's like, I wanted to be here to make sure that you were still you, because they don't know you as well as I do, and I would be able to tell better than Giles and Buffy if you're still you. And Xander kind of tries to, like,
manipulate her,
manipulate her, and then reach out and grab her to get the keys to unlock himself on the book cage. Let's see. Willow is very, very crafty, doesn't fall for Xander's manipulation. So let's see. I have in here, red flag. Zookeeper acts surprised that the kids have been possessed, but immediately says he knows the ritual to fix it.
It's like, this happens every now and then. Well, it's fine. We can just undo it.
Yeah, I believe this is the second episode with a Giles knockout. I think the first one was last episode with the morgue fight.
Yep.
Giles gets knocked out a lot.
Yeah, it's on Passion of the Nerd, right? Yeah. He has like a
knockout counter.
It's hilarious. Also, he's just by the end, just traumatic brain injury.
Oh, yeah.
He would just not be functioning.
He's very smart for somebody who's been knocked out as many times. So let's see. So it turns out that the zookeeper was trying to get himself possessed by the spirits of the hyenas because reasons.
Right.
And so the zookeeper gets the spirits of the hyenas out of the kids into himself and then tries to eat Willow. Right, and Xander saves Willow. And then I love...
redeeming himself for this attempted sexual assault.
Oh my God. I love the end of this episode, though, with Xander saying that he doesn't remember what happened. And so Buffy and Willow are kind of recounting things for him. And he's like, I ate a pig? Was it cooked and called bacon?
Yeah.
And they're like, no. And then Xander is like saying all that. And then Giles, after Buffy and Willow walk away, Giles is like, so I've been looking into this. And memory loss isn't a thing of being unpossessed.
Yeah.
And what was it? Xander says, like, they don't know that, do they? Meaning Buffy and Willow. And Xander's like, Giles is like, no, I'm not going to tell them. And Xander says, shoot me, stuff me, mount me. As in, like, if they knew I remembered.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I'm super biased of this episode. I love it. I love seeing, like, a different side. Like, okay. Granted, the sexual assault stuff, not good.
Not great.
Not good.
We'll say bad, even.
Yeah. Just fact. However, I do like seeing, like, a different side of Xander. I think it was really cool seeing, like, the range of Nicholas Brendan in this episode. And
flex his acting muscles a little bit, yeah.
He gets less goofy. He's more, like, tall, dark, and handsome. But, yeah, so there are aspects of this episode that I do like.
Right.
So I would give it, like, 6 states.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, too. Yeah, 6 out of 10.
So yeah, I like him. I like seeing Xander being a little bit of like the bad guy.
Yeah, no, I think it's good. I think it's always cool when you can get any of these actors to play against type and like do different stuff for all the various like when Willow. Yeah, there's different. I don't want to spoil anything, but there's different times in this series where characters will act different because of something in the plot and it's always fun to watch the actors take that different angle on their characters.
Yeah.
So, next episode. Final episode of this episode.
So the last episode of this podcast episode, is Angel.
Very important episode.
Season 1, episode 7. There's actually, for those of you who do know the series, there's kind of a running tract thing with episode 7s where they're just kind of really awesome.
Right.
So this one was written by David Greenwald, who would go on to write many, many episodes. So we have the Master who is back, and he is going to send the 3 after Buffy, which is just kind of this gang of like 3 vampires. They're supposed to be like super brutal or whatever. So there is a fumigation party at the Bronze, which we've already talked about, their fumigation parties. Let's see. Angel's following Buffy around. Buffy is attacked by the 3. Angel's actually there and tries to help out this time, but gets himself kind of slashed.
Right.
So he like tries to save her, gets hurt in the process. They run to Buffy's house. Buffy invites him in, yelling, "Get in, come on," which I think, to me at least, has always been a little like vague. Like, does the invitation work as far as like was Angel the only one invited in when she said "Get in, come on"? Or were the other vampires invited in?
It's intent, I guess.
Yeah.
Like whoever you, which I kind of like. It's obviously like a plot point in later episodes. Like, I can't invite this person in because I don't trust them, you know.
However, there's also the other side of that being, if a vampire can't come in unless it's invited, how did one of the members of the 3 stick his arm in the door? Because usually you see them like hitting like an invisible barrier, but he was able to like. So yeah.
Very, very weird.
Yeah. So Angel is in Buffy's house. They're hiding. She's like, "Come in, take your shirt off, like let me look at that cut." We see that he has a griffin tattoo on the back of his shoulder. Also see that he is very, very good looking. with
As if it wasn't apparent enough.
I mean, the body matches the face. That's all I'm saying.
Right.
So let's see. I have a note in here saying, does Angel's tattoo ever get like explained in either series? I don't think it does. It's just kind of there.
Have it forever.
I kind of wonder if it's like if just David Boreanaz
has a griffin tattoo. I think we have to watch Bones.
We do.
I know for a fact there's shirtless scenes of him in that show, and if he has it, it's confirmed.
Yeah. Or he could really have it and just covered it with makeup.
It's true. That seems like a lot to go through.
Yeah, it would be like a nice little Easter egg for Buffy fans to see it. That'd be funny. But let's see. So Buffy's kind of asking Angel about himself, but then Joyce shows up, scares the crap out of Buffy because she hears like the door opening, and she's like, "Oh my god, the vampires are coming!" Nope, it's just Joyce. Let's see. Angel uses flattery with Buffy to change the subject off of himself because she starts asking him like questions.
Right.
Let's see. Nope, that's a spoiler. So Buffy convinces Angel to stay the night because she's like, the vampires are probably still out there. Like, I don't want you getting hurt. So why don't you like stay the night?
Yeah.
Pretends to say goodnight to Angel, closes the door. Then Angel and Buffy go upstairs.
All right, because Joyce like is aware that Angel's here.
Yes.
Yeah.
But she says that he's like a college student who's helping her study.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Isn't it a little late for studying?" And Buffy's like, "Yep, it is. We're gonna say goodnight now," and then pretends to say goodnight to him, but doesn't really leave. He ends up sleeping in her room that night, next to her bed on the floor.
Right. He's a gentleman, you know.
Yeah. But Xander still gets really jealous. And he's like, "He slept in your bed?" She said, "No, he slept by my bed."
Right. It's a big distinction.
Not in my bed. Let's see. We learned that the three are warrior vampires. Let's see. So Willow's like, "Giles, how do you always just know stuff?" And he says, "You weren't here from midnight until 6 a.m. researching it," which leads me to wonder, how does he even know that happened?
Right.
Because they found out this was a thing and then like immediately got attacked by them. But I don't know, maybe she called him at some point?
Yeah, something like that.
No idea. I have a note in here. When did Buffy call him? How did he know?
Like, this is a plot hole. What the fuck?
A little bit.
I'm not okay with this.
I have to take back my statement from earlier about how Buffy doesn't have plot holes. There are some.
Oh, everything has plot holes.
They're little pin plot holes, though.
Right.
They're not like gaping sinkhole plot holes.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Buffy comes back from school, brings Angel up a meal that looks like a salad that she put in a plastic Ziploc bag. And then looks down and sees that her diary has been moved. She thinks that Angel read her diary.
Yeah.
And Angel's like, oh no, she says, she starts making excuses for what A stands for in her diary when it's clearly him, which I think is adorable.
Yeah.
Turns out he didn't read her diary. Joyce moved it when she came in to clean up, which I'm like, okay, Buffy's like 16. Why is Joyce coming in her room when she's not there and cleaning up and like moving her diary around? It's still a little odd. Angel's like, yeah, I hid in the closet while she was cleaning up. I'm like, okay, it's kind of nice that she didn't have to put anything away.
I know, right? Oh,
little convenient.
Bad.
So Buffy and Angel finally kiss, and then Angel goes vamp face. Buffy screams. Angel jumps out the window.
Seems like the only reasonable thing to do.
Away! Out the window.
So I guess we've established being a vampire. It happens when you want to kill somebody and you want to bone somebody, and that's just how it works, apparently.
Yeah, he just kind of lost control somehow. I don't know.
So again, we see like Angel and other things. This doesn't always happen. Yeah. I don't know why this happens in this episode, but it's like, I don't know how to put this. It's kind of like a funny, but cool and interesting way to reveal this, because up to this point, if you don't already know he is a vampire, you don't really think he is. You know, there's nothing. He gets like mortal wounds. You know, like there's nothing about him that makes you think he's a vampire. He doesn't want to help Buffy in the first or the second episode fight the Master because he's just like, so. Which, if you're just a normal person, no, I'm not gonna do that. Like, fuck that.
Which in that episode there was a small kind of inconsistency in that scene specifically where there's a little bit
coming around.
There's a little bit of too much sunlight on Angel, which I believe Joss tries to write it off as like, oh, it was like bouncing light.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't direct light.
Yeah.
But I just think it's funny. But at this point, a lot of fans didn't know that Angel was a vampire until this episode.
Yeah.
So I mean, he's
reasonable.
been in it since episode 1. Mm-hmm. It took like 7 episodes to reveal that, and for like the fans to finally figure it out. So
I think it's cool. I like it. I think it's a good twist.
So Buffy ends up going to Giles and the rest of the gang and being like, but they're like, just because somebody's a vampire doesn't mean they're like all bad, right? Like there could be such a thing as like a good vampire, and Giles is like, no, there's no such thing as a good vampire. They are a demon in a human body. Right. Like it's the
their
demon,
faces are so messed up.
Yeah, the demon takes everything good about them. Basically, is what he's saying. We do end up finding out a little bit more about Angel's kind of background, because he and Darla have a history. And I do have in here his history and stuff, but I don't remember if it's actually introduced in this episode.
Yeah.
It might be, but it's probably introduced this season, so I can probably talk about it.
They definitely read about a vampire curse with a soul in this episode. I'm like 99% sure.
So we'll talk about it.
Yeah, because she figures out that he's 240 years old, and she makes like a comment like a lot of dates like in 240 years, that whole thing.
Even if it's like 1 a year.
Yeah. It's 1 a year. Anyways.
So they find out that Angel is actually Angelus. Mm-hmm. He is a 240-year-old vampire. He was cursed by gypsies with a soul.
Yeah.
So the idea with vampires is that when a human is turned into a vampire, their body is invaded by the demon. Mm. The demon gets to keep their memories, their knowledge, their face, etc., but does not get to keep their soul. The soul is the part of a person that makes them good. Mm. It is their conscience and their moral compass. Hi, I can talk English. Is
killed it. Good job.
So it's their conscience and their moral compass. Vampires are evil because they do not have either of those things. Mm. They will kill and destroy and enjoy it because there isn't a voice in their head telling them it's wrong.
Right.
With Angel, he got his soul restored by the gypsies, and he was forced to suffer as his soul kind of guilt trips his mind for every horrible thing he did between the time when he was turned and when his soul was restored.
Yeah, which I think is really cool. A really cool storyline. Having this guy who was like the baddest bad vampire ever get cursed with having to face all the horrible things he did when he wasn't like actually in control. You know? I don't know. I love the Angel storyline. I think it's super neat. And I think it's cool, like, because in other vampire fiction, this isn't really a thing, right? Mm-hmm. Like, I think it's an interesting dynamic. It's like vampires are evil because of this. They're not just evil because they're vampires, you know?
Right. So the gang doesn't know about the whole soul restoring thing yet. So Giles says there's no such thing as a good vampire, and he actually reads from an old Watcher diary that gives like exposition on Angel's history. Mm-hmm. So I have a question here. Was Angel friends with a Watcher years ago who gave him all this history to write down?
It's possible, I guess.
Maybe. But basically he when he did not have a soul, he was not a good person.
He was real bad. He was legendarily so.
Really bad. Let's see. Darla overhears Buffy and Willow talking about Angel. Joyce invites Darla into the house. Bad idea.
Yep.
And if Buffy had been honest with her mom and told her that she was a Slayer and all this stuff and to not invite strange people into the house, probably wouldn't have happened. Mm-hmm. So, Buffy, talk to your mother. Darla bites Joyce, but then leaves like her body with Angel because Angel tries to step in to help. Not help hurt Joyce, to save Joyce.
Yes.
He wants to help Joyce.
Because he has a soul.
So then Buffy sees Angel holding, like, Joyce, and Joyce is bleeding from the neck, and Buffy throws Angel out a window.
He's just always going out the window.
Yeah. We should have, like a summer's window break counter.
Oh, yeah.
How many
times? Right window's dream right there.
Oh, yeah.
I love that house. I don't know what the hell's happening in that house.
My God.
Always replacing their windows.
Yep. Joyce believes that she fell on a barbecue fork, even though they don't own one.
It's so ridiculous. You would definitely die if you fell on your neck first onto a barbecue fork.
Oh, my God. The amount of, like, mental...
gymnastics.
Yes. Yeah. That a lot of the parents in Sunnydale do to explain things when they don't really know what's going on is just amazing to me.
Like I said, maybe this is all because they're on the Hellmouth and it's all mystical stuff. Maybe they just like...
It makes all the parents really dumb.
It makes everyone like... It's fine. Yeah, people get murdered here, but we're still going to go to class every day. It's fine. It's not a big deal. That's my only explanation to why people are chill about Sunnydale. Because if this is like real life, you'd live there for like a few weeks and be like, fuck this place, we're moving.
Or you'd look into the crime rate and be like, wow, they have a lot of really mysterious deaths. Yeah. Maybe I shouldn't move there.
What is the principal like PCP or something like?
Oh, yeah.
His like go-to excuse, they're on drugs. So funny.
Vampire attack at the high school. Let's just tell them PCP.
Yep.
Wild animal attack.
Oh, man.
Let's see. So Buffy blames herself. She says, I invited him into my home even after I knew who he was and what he was. No, you didn't know what he was before
I know,
you invited
didn't
him
know
in.
this. You just thought, you're going to bang him eventually. This is understandable, Buffy. We'd all invite Angel to
So she's doing a little bit of mental gymnastics on her own there to blame herself for this happening. We're like, girl, give yourself a little break here. You did not know. So Buffy tries to go and get revenge for him attacking her mother. She breaks out the crossbow to try to kill Angel.
She's very conflicted though, because she still cares about Angel.
She does.
She has a crush.
She
doesn't want to have to dust him.
Right. I mean, they've been playing this kind of will they won't they game.
Total Ross and Rachel.
Except they weren't on a break.
Be a plot point there. No.
Oh my God. So Joyce reveals to Giles that Angel wasn't the friend she was referring to who was there when she fell on the barbecue fork.
Right.
Giles figures out that this means Angel didn't bite her, but Buffy's already taken off to go kill Angel.
Whoopsies.
So Buffy goes to the Bronze where it is closed for the fumigation, which apparently is fine, and they don't really close that shit up.
Right.
Not really worried about it. To face off with Angel. I have my notes. Wouldn't there be dangerous chemicals? Yes.
It's fine.
Yes, there would.
It's fine.
Angel basically still feels the remorse of everything that he's done, believes that he deserves to die.
Yeah.
He tries to basically suicide by cop from Buffy. He reveals kind of his history with the gypsies and that his soul was restored. Angel tells her that he didn't bite her mom. But he is like, just because I didn't bite your mom doesn't mean I haven't been a bad guy.
Right.
Like, you should still kill me. I can, he says, I can walk like a man, but I'm not one.
Right.
Darla reveals that she is Angel's sire, which basically means that way back 240 years ago, she was the one who actually bit Angel and turned him into a vampire. She also reveals that Angel loves Buffy. Just, come on, Darla, low blow. Darla has guns, which is this is one of the few times that guns ever actually show up in Buffy. Guns are very ineffective in Buffy. But Darla has guns and shoots Angel. Somehow Darla has the aim of a stormtrooper. She doesn't kill him.
Guns are hard to shoot at.
But she's got one in each hand. I'm like,
that's even worse.
Why did you become Rambo? So Darla Rambo.
Trying a thing didn't work out.
Let's see. Willow, Xander, and Giles almost get shot trying to distract Darla. Angel stakes Darla, so kills Darla.
Yeah. Damn.
Sorry, girl.
Guess that's it for Darla, right?
Hey, she was supposed to die in the first episode. They didn't end up killing her. They kept her for episode 7. Let's see. So Angel stakes Darla, then he leaves. The Master is very upset that Darla is gone because she's been like one of his like children. I believe the Master was actually Darla's sire.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So they've been together for like even longer because she's older than Angel.
Right.
So let's see. So the Master's very upset that Darla's gone, and Angel and Buffy kiss again. Buffy's cross, which the necklace that Angel gave her, like burns into his chest, and it's really okay. Little bit of PSA: it is not sexy to burn your partner.
I'm not gonna kink shame on this show. You do what you want. If everyone's into it, just be safe out there.
Be safe. But like this comes off as very sexy. They have really nice like music in the background. It's adorable. Maybe that's what stops. Maybe the pain, like the distraction pain, stops him from turning vamp face. I don't know. It's never really explained. He eventually gets that under control. They kiss a lot, and he doesn't go vamp face every time. But yeah. So as far as watch or pass, I have watch with about 5 exclamation points, and I have one of the best episodes of the season, if not the series. Let's be honest here. Gives a lot of backstory on Angel, who turns into a major character development and discovery. Yeah. So I gave this one 7 stakes when I originally watched it. I really want to go for 8 now. I'm like, I just love this episode.
Yeah, I was gonna say 8 for myself. I love it too. I think it's like it's an important episode for the whole series, like
for the universe.
For the universe, yeah. Like it's. I think they did a great job. Where when you go back and watch it, you're like, oh, I see Angel was a vampire for sure the whole time, but in the moment you don't catch on to it. I think that's really good. I think having this interesting storyline with him like being cursed is super interesting as well. And yeah, I wish more, vampire stuff would kind of play with that idea, because a lot of times it's like you're a vampire, but you're just a person who can't go out during the day.
Yeah.
Which is like relatable, I think. I never want to go out during the day or at night. I just don't want to leave the apartment ever. But I think like a lot of times, they just kind of like make vampires normal people with superpowers.
And who just happen to drink blood.
Yeah.
But even in like Vampire Diaries, like there are scenes with the vampires, so like Damon and Stefan and the other vampires who come in later, who like they eat normal food all the time.
Right.
And I remember there's like an episode where Elena actually questions Damon on this, and she's like, aren't you supposed to like just drink blood? And he's like, as long as I keep a normal like regimen of blood in my system, my body basically functions almost normally.
Yeah, so it's not even like it doesn't matter.
So it's like
vampire.
No, like he can still like blend in and eat and whatever, and it's like not a big deal at all.
Yeah,
the
one thing in this is like alcohol still works the same with vampires, or at least it has an effect on vampires.
Oh yeah.
Because I'm pretty sure there are other characters in this who drink a lot.
Yes.
And they are vampires.
Yes.
Which, I mean, immortality without booze would be awful. I get it. I think if you're writing a vampire and you let them drink, that's fine.
Yeah.
All right. So, that was, I think, a good note to end this episode on. Obviously, one of the best episodes of the series. Do you have anything else you'd like to add before we sign off for this episode?
Nope. The last group of 5 is going to be interesting to talk about.
Yes.
We got some really...
What's the required watching for the next episode? If people want to...
Oh, so for the next... You keep making me flip back to my other notes without giving me a heads up. So the last 5 episodes that we are going to be talking about in the next episode are I, Robot You, Jane, The Puppet Show, Nightmares, Out of Mind, Out of Sight, and then the season finale, Prophecy Girl. Gotcha.
So if you want to watch along, make sure you check out those episodes. Jill, where can they find you online?
If you really want to, you can find me on Twitter. I don't use it. Give me a reason to use it. You can tweet me at Jillian_Swan, and that's Swan with 2 N's.
Awesome. You can find me on Twitter at TheFakeBMar. That's BMARR. Of course, you can find the channel on Twitter at WGEverything, on Instagram at WickedGoodEverything, on Twitch at twitch.tv/WickedEverything. The main channel is on YouTube at youtube.com/WickedEverything. And this channel that you're watching right now, if you're not listening on iTunes, is Wicked Good Podcast. We don't have enough subscribers at the time of recording to make a custom URL, but you can help out with that, and we'd appreciate it very much if you did. Give us a rating on iTunes, tell your friends who like Buffy, and we'll see you in the next episode. Later. The Sunnydale Review is a Wicked Good Everything production. The fan art of Buffy was created by Fishbone Art. The logo was created by Tamar Kutab. The original intro and outro song was created by Alex Carl.